Hey y'all, hey. Okay, I had to come back again tonight because I know that earlier I left you ladies with a suggestion that you must get out more often. And perhaps if you get out, change your environment, mingle with people, if you're interested in dating, that those options could be available to you. And I wanted to come back because something happened in between the time that I did that video and get into my location, and I'll just share with you guys that there was actually a family member there who had a family member that passed away. And what it reminded me of is I immediately began thinking about, the fact that I had just spoken about, getting out, living life and doing things right now. And I also thought about some of the ladies in this group or on this channel. If you watch my channel, you're watching it for a purpose and for a reason. And because I have a Christian base to what it is that I'm talking about, I'm speaking to a woman who, in many ways, your faith is going to have to be tested, and it's going to have to be tried, and it is going to have to be what carries you through the process when things don't seem like they're working out the way that you would think. And so God gave me this scripture as I was driving home, just thinking, because when you're a content builder, like, you're thinking all the time. There's not anything that's going on that you're not thinking about how you can tie that into your channel and those that might be listening. And so the scripture that came to mind was I thought I had already pulled it up. Okay, John 21:6. And this is where Jesus is in the boat and he tells them to throw their net to the right side of the boat. In other words, they had been out fishing all night, and when they were fishing, they weren't catching anything. They were just fishing, putting the nets out there, pull them in, wasn't nothing. Put the nets out there, pull them in, wasn't anything. And finally, Jesus said, cast it to the other side. In other words, do something different. Don't keep doing what you've always been doing. I can't remember if I said at the beginning of this video, but insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting to get different results. If you've done something previously in your relationships and you've done something on this dating path that you have not changed, and you're doing the same thing and you're getting the same results, then you might need to look at changing what the processes are that you have in place. And when I did a Google search on it, the AI came back and said, cast your net on the other side is a biblical phrase from John 21:6, Bible Gateway, where Jesus instructs his disciples to try a different approach after failing to catch fish on one side of the boat. It's often interpreted as a metaphor for trying a new strategy, seeking guidance, or trusting in a different way when facing challenges. And as I thought about going out and getting out, you will attract what you are. I have a video that talked about don't date in your broken space. And I can tell you that if you are interested in really growing, developing, moving into a different direction, if you really do desire marriage and relationship, you really should go and watch that video. Because the more that I engage in this channel, the more that I learn about myself, of how broken I was when I first started dating my ex-husband. And how I saw red flags, but I did not yield to them, and I did not throw my net on the other side because I was afraid that I would not have another opportunity. And where I am now in my life, unfortunately, it's a good thing and it's a bad thing. I am at peace with where I am, and if I don't get the desires of my heart, I will be comfortable with accepting what God has for me. But I will also say that when you do something different, you attract something different. So I also looked at there was something that came up in this particular Google search, and one of them said faith and effort. The story emphasizes that even when you're working hard, faith and guidance from others can be crucial to achieving success. If you are on this channel and you are listening to these videos and you are following me on a regular and consistent basis, it is because you desire to make some type of change in your life. Because my videos and my channel is about change. It's about faith. It's about facing the challenges that come along with Christianity and walking out a godly life, even when it's difficult to make that decision. Another portion says, trust and guidance. I thought this one was really good. The disciples trusted Jesus' guidance and were rewarded when the miraculous catch of fish, highlighting the importance of faith and trusting in a higher power. That right there, if I was at church, I could take off and run. When it said that they were rewarded for Jesus' guidance, we are always looking for somebody else to give us an idea or tell us how to do something. And I'm going to do a video. I want to do one talking about people want the guarantee of a relationship. There are no guarantees when it comes to dealing with human people. There is no, you have to be willing to take a chance. You have to be willing to say that not that I trust in this person, but I trust God. It says that they trusted Jesus' guidance. So if you have a problem with the person, go back to the person who made them. Take them back to the manufacturer. God is going to give me a whole word for y'all about that. I was talking about dealing with my car a couple of weeks ago, and God gave me a whole word in reference to that. So if you trust in Jesus's guidance, then you'll be rewarded with a miraculous catch. So in the end, you win. It doesn't matter whether it is a catch or whether it's not. And I'll be honest with you, when you do what you're supposed to do according to what God has called you to do, He's going to reward your faithfulness. He's going to reward your obedience. He's going to give you guidance and steps on how to follow through with what it is that He's called you to do. So that might not be what somebody else has been called to do. Now, what part of the journey that someone walks out on one side might not be what somebody else is going to walk out. And that's where, when I listen to some of the content builders that are out here, to me, especially the younger women, and some of these young women that are teaching people how they're teaching the younger generation about going after money. And it's just going to be a detriment. Like, it's going to be so ugly. You're going to have so many young ladies broken. And by the time they get to their 50s, they went through 30, 40, 50 men, basically, in many ways, putting themselves in a position where they really could be making a salary for what they're actually doing. And they're calling it dating. But it's not. It's really something that really they could just get a paycheck for. Because there is nothing connected to that is saying that I'm trying to do something to build a relationship with someone. What it is actually saying is that I'm looking at what I can get from this person, and basically that's a transaction. I'm gonna pause right there. If he got to take you to dinner in order for he got to make sure that, yeah, if he got to buy you some shoes, if he has to get you a purse, and the exchange is, yeah, well, they have a profession for that. And the bottom line is, there are many content builders that are out there that are teaching that to our young women, to the next generation. As I talk to my sons and I talk to them about dating, like, they almost don't eat. My oldest son is like, Mama, it's just not good. He's like, that's just like the women, the quality of them, what they expect. I'm not getting ready to bankroll any young lady. And the thing is, you have to understand that my son ain't gonna tell me. They not gonna come and give me the 411. Now, they'll talk amongst themselves or their friends. You know, I can ear hustle sometime and get a little information. But even with the younger generation, there's just certain things that they are not going to do. There are certain caliber of women, just because of where they come from, that they might deal with them, but they ain't gonna never bring them home to meet me. They may deal with them, but they will never ever be able to converse with me about it. Not because I'm holding anything against them, but because of who they are. So I just want to go back to this component. And I'm just saying that to you because sometimes, ladies, we feel like we have to adjust who we are in order to attract. And what I'm telling you is that the law of attraction, you will attract what you are putting out. If you put out, exude confidence, love, happiness, joy, you're going to pull that right in. Hear me when I say there is no lack in the land. And I need for every woman that is watching this video that is thinking that she has to adjust herself in order to make sure that she is approachable by a man or that she is a qualified candidate, that you don't have to do any of that. Just be who you are. Improve on yourself. Increase who you are. Continue to increase your prayer life. Increase your self-esteem. Increase your self-confidence. And when you increase those things and you are faithful to God, then He'll put you in the right position so that, it won't just be one person. It might be 2 or 3 or 4. It may be multiple suitors because they will seek you out. Even when you're in the crowd. There is a couple of little memes that I've seen where, say, like all the people, the little suggestions that they're people, are say that all the colors are, let's just say purple for a color, and then you might have one that's red. It stands out from everybody else. Or they might have all of them where all the colors are black, and then you might have one that's green that stands out from the crowd. It doesn't take but one. And so when I went to the event that I went to tonight, I had a good time. We danced, we laughed, we talked. And the thing was, I had gone earlier today to help to decorate for this event. And then I came home, took care of some things for my kids. And then I was like, man, I want to lay down and take a nap. But I knew if I took a nap, that was going to be over. So I said, well, let me just get dressed and head on over. And I did. And then I stayed and helped to clean up. So I give of myself and I make sure that I am available to my friends and my family, but sometimes you got to make sure that you're available to yourself. Make sure that what you want to give out is what you're going to attract in. And so I just wanted to come back tonight and say sometimes you got to just cast your net on the other side. it just might not be in the spot where you've been fishing at. Maybe you've been fishing in the wrong pond. Maybe you're fishing in the low level of the pond. Maybe the fish is swimming upstream or something. I don't know. But I do know that, if you put yourself out there, you'll find that you will be able to attract what you are giving off. You will be able to attract who you have become and not who you are in your broken space. So take a moment. Give me some feedback in the comments. I need for you guys to click like. I need for you to share it with a friend. And I need for you to subscribe. Have a good night.